So here is the demonstration of the project Photosite. It is a Ruby on Rails application. This project is the implementation of MVC architectural pattern, and it's a web application where users can share their photos and can comment on them. So application uses HTML and SQLite database, and it has information about the users like first name, last name, and it also provides the pictures and comments for each user. This project uses modules for migrating database using SQLite and controllers which are built on Ruby on Rails. So we can get into the implementation. So here I use three models: user, photo, and comment. We can so after creating the Docker image that can be viewed in the image part here. So before pushing the Docker image, we need to create an account in the Docker Hub and also create a repository. And I created a repository and pushed my Docker image here. So we can see the tag here. And now we can go to the EC2 part of it. So for we are choosing EC2 here for basically creating two URLs, user index and photo index ID, which we'll be discussing later. And so before for getting a Docker instance into EC2 application, I used PuTTY. So we can give our public IPv4 instance here. So for giving that, first we need to create an instance. So I'll show how I created my instance. So here we can see EC2 dashboard and running. I already created an instance and it's in the running state, so this one instance. So here we can create instance, launch instance. So we can choose whatever instance we want, server we want. So I chose Ubuntu one, and it's a free tier eligible one, so I chose the micro type server, and I'm leaving the configuration as is, default configuration. So I'm fine with the storage as well. I won't be adding any tags, I don't require them. So here, coming to the security group, we can include types such as all TCP and HTTP as well, and we can give the custom sources too, and we can launch it to the instance creation. And after launching the instance, we'll be getting a private key. So AWS provides two keys, the public key and private key for every instance. So public key is common for everyone, and for the private we'll be getting a private PPK file. We need to store it for access purposes. So we see here the instance is up, and I'll try to access the user slash index, which we did before. So I can see all the list of users displayed here, and upon the first names of all the users are hyperlinks, and I can access each user's information. So here I can see photos and the comments people made here, and since the posted one is also the Justin, the same thing is reloaded. So here the instead of first user, let us check second user. I can see Paris Hilton's profile here, information here, and here Megan trainer. This way we will try to access other users too. Santa and the last one. So we can access all the 6 users by just changing the ID part of it, because this is how we configure, and we can also access them by directly clicking on their first name, which is a hyperlink, so we get the same page. And this is all about the implementation of Photosite application. So going back, there are 2 more special issue questions which are posted. So what happens when an instance stops running? So this problem is quite common because when there's a lot of load that the server is taking, or there's some disruption, the server is lost. So we can there's a solution for it. So we can create an image for the instance. So there's this concept called creating image of an instance. So let us consider this image, and we'll try creating an image, and it asks us a few details, like as this is an example, I'm giving images name as example, and I'm trying to create an image, and it says successful. So upon successful creation of the image, I can access them in AMIs. So here I see an image here. So this image is similar to a snapshot of the instance. So this has the existing server status and all. So whenever the server is lost, we can use this image. So we can store this image in S3 bucket. As this is a free instance, I'm unable to store it, but in a paid instance we can do that. And coming to the second special question. What happens when you reboot an instance, and what can you do? So like every time we reboot or restart an instance, our public IPv4 address is lost. So for every instance we can see public IPv4 address, and this public IPv4 address changes whenever we reboot or restart a server. So to overcome this problem, there's a concept called plastic IPs. So in plastic IPs, we can allocate an elastic IP address for the public instance. So let's see how we can do that. So for this instance, let us try creating an IP elastic IP. So I'll copy the public IPv4 address, and I'll try to allocate the IPv4 address here, and I'm creating from pool IPv4. Yes, this IPv4 allocated, so we can link it by giving our public instance here. So there's only one instance which is running, so I chose that instance here, and I'm trying to associate it. So it's associated. We can go back to the instance, and so that should be still loading, and after complete creation, here we get the elastic IP as well. Even when the instance is down, even after we lose the public IPv4 address, there's an elastic IP address which saves us from that particular situation. So coming to the problems which I faced, so I faced problem with Docker. So my local Ruby version was an updated version 2.7, and the one which I downloaded on Ubuntu was 2.7.0. So I resolved that conflict and everything is working fine. As we can see, the application is up, and yeah, that's it.